let's get into how and why this guy got inducted into the Glasses Hall of Fame. I'll buy you a car before I buy her a car. I'm back. Lennox is being put to bed. It is evening time, and I'm ready to tell you my story. Okay. So when Lennox was 5 months, he is now 26 months to be exact. I just did the math. I normally do not do the whole months thing, but I feel like it is critical to this situation. So when he was 5 months, Lennox got really sick. And it started out as like a cold situation, turned into a whole wheezing type of situation. And from there, it just was like downhill, okay, for like a couple of months. And I'm not going to get into detail because it was a really sad story and I just don't like to relive it. So, yeah. So he was in hospital for a couple of months, and while he was there, he was connected to a lot of tubes. Like at one point he was connected to a ventilator. He had like the breathing tube, the ventilator, the breathing tube. He was connected to the feeding tube, and I think it was like 2 wires or something that was I'm gonna put a picture because now I know how to edit. So I'm going to put a picture over here, and you're going to be able to see in the picture how they had the wires hooked up into his nose. So on his right side, on his right side, he had the wires going up his nose, and they had to tape it on his cheek. So once he was there for a while, I noticed that his eye was getting like smaller and smaller. So when I told them about it, they did switch to the other side, but it was really not much they could do because he did need these tubes. So he was there for a couple of months. Then when he came home, his eye did slowly get back to a normal size. It was small for a while. I'm gonna see if I can find some pictures. I can't find no pictures with his eye once he came home. But I did notice that it was smaller. And I also noticed that when like people would walk over top of him, or when he was trying to look up, his eyes would go outward. Especially the right eye. The right eye definitely was doing like its own little thing. Okay, like it's not even funny, but it was definitely doing its own little thing. And at first I took it as, you know how like when the elders say stuff like, well, don't let that baby look up, his eyes gonna get, crossed and stuck. So I took it as that type of thing. So I kept telling people like, don't walk over top of him, don't make him look up, stuff like that, thinking it would just go away. So it didn't go away. The eye kept doing whatever it was doing. So I don't know why I did that. It's not okay. Let me start on hand action. So I took him to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, it's kind of normal for kids' eyes to do that, from looking up. We're just going to wait and see. And when I took him, it wasn't his normal doctor that day for whatever reason. I don't remember. So he was just like, his eye wasn't specifically doing it at that time. So he was just like, well, we're just going to see and watch it and da-da-da-da. So I was like, okay, I guess it'll go, it'll fix or whatever. So a couple months later, I noticed that, now this is some time, because like I said, he was in the hospital for maybe like 2 to 3 months. Maybe like, I want to say like 3 months. He was in there for a while. It seemed like forever, babies. And when you see them pictures, listen, I'm gonna see if I can just put them. I don't even want to look at the pictures. That hurt my soul so bad deep down, looking at my baby like that. Like that was like the hardest. Okay, all right. Anyway, So now time passes or whatever, and I take him back to, this had to have been maybe his I don't remember. Anyway, I took him back to his regular doctor, and this was like just a regular checkup. And his eye did the motion. See, again, I said I don't know. I apologize for anybody whose eyes do that. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that. So I took him to the regular doctor, and his eye did it at that time. So she was like, okay, well, wait a minute. She was like, let's get him to see, a specialist to see what's going on with his eye, to make sure that, everything is okay. And like I said, the eye now is a regular size, but it still is moving around when he looks up. And it's not really a really obvious thing. Like, if you watching him for a while, you will catch that eye. But it isn't something that's like, you just look at him and it's just, and it just go, I'm sorry, and it just goes off. No, that's it, no. So okay, takes him to the date like I said. Okay, so that she refers us to I think it's called the obstetrician, the eye doctor. Like, I don't wear glasses. I don't know what they call it. I just call it the eye doctor. Anyway, so takes him to the eye doctor specialist person over at Mount Washington Children's. Listen, all right, hey, listen. We go over to the hospital, okay? We go over to the hospital, and that's where the specialist was at. So they do the eye test on him, and they for sure say that his eye is, it is an issue. So they tell me that is more than likely because when he had the wires hooked up to his nose, the tape that they had on his cheek basically worked as an eye patch. So it kind of made this eye lazy and made the other eye work harder. So basically it's almost like so that's basically what happened. The tape worked as an eye patch and made his eyes weak, basically. So he was saying that what he would do normally if it was just one eye is patch it and make the other eye work harder to balance it out, to even it out. He was like, because most kids his age, is when their eyes go in, they grow out of it. Like, if their eyes are crossed in, then the child can grow out of it as they get older. But because Lennox's eyes were going out, that's not something that they usually grow out of. So something has to be done. So he was like, he would patch it, but because it's both eyes that seem to be doing it, one not as much, the left one is not doing it as much as the right one, but it is still doing it. So he was saying, so we're gonna give him the glasses. So I asked him, well, if his eyes wasn't doing that, because sometimes I do notice that Lennox will take stuff and hold it real close up on his face. So I said, well, if he wasn't, if his eyes wasn't doing it, would you still give him glasses because of, his vision? He was like, no. He was like, for a child his age, we don't normally recommend glasses for that. He was like, no, just, I'm only giving him the glasses just to see if it will correct, the movement of the eyes, to strengthen them. So he has to have the glasses for a couple of months, and then he goes back to another specialist, and they're gonna see if that has helped. And if it hasn't helped, then he might have to have surgery. That's the downside. Hopefully not. I'm praying not, because I really don't want to have to make the decision of whether it's worth it. You know what I mean? Because, like, if he can see, then is it worth just so that his eye doesn't look, you know, whatever, you know, doesn't go out of bounds? Is it worth it? I mean, if he can see out of them, is it worth the surgery? I don't know. So I don't really want to have to come to that, to have to make that decision. So I'm hoping that the glasses will do what we want it to do. I'm praying to the ancestors. So that is why Lennox has his glasses. See you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my little guy in his glasses, even if it was only for a few seconds, because we had to put that baby to bed, baby. Okay? Peace, light, love. Be great. That's your first time. Hello.
It's